Well, Sean Lennon here, Pro Wrestling Enforcer Podcast, and we are talking to Danny Rivera, also known as Danny Limelight. Welcome to PWE. He's been featured on AEW Dark and also has been part of New Japan Strong. We also know he was part of MLW, and when that airs, we'll see, what kind of matches he was in. We're excited to hear about that. And we got the new film he stars in, Joe Riv, coming out soon, and we've got his co-star of the movie, LeQuan Bennett. He's joining us as well to talk more about that movie in depth. And we appreciate you being on the show, Danny.
What's going on, Sean, bro? Thank you for having me, man. Thanks for the introduction. For everybody listening, thank you for listening. LeQuan, co-star of Joe Riv. Thank you for coming on, brother. I really, I'm excited to be here. I've had a crazy year with AEW, New Japan, and now signing a deal with MLW. It's been great, brother.
Congratulations on all that. I mean, that the key word is the signed, right? Because, you did work for AEW Dark, New Japan Strong, but being signed somewhere, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, like with the New Japan, it was by appearance,
right.
just doing the Team Filthy thing there, having fun with that. It's been a great experience wrestling some of the best that company has to offer. And then with AEW, I was on contract with AEW for a while. Had a lot of fun wrestling some of the best in the world, like Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley and, Seidel, Brian Cage, Ray Phoenix, the list goes on. And now, finally coming to a long-term agreement with MLW, joining Slice Boogey. Shout out to my tag partner, Slice Boogey, and Konnan, the OG, is part of the new LAX, man. It's fucking lit out here,
Yeah, definitely. I love Konnan. Like, just talking to him, even if you have like 2 minutes with him, you can learn so much.
Yeah.
It's like learning 2 hours from someone, you know what I mean? Just he'll tell you exactly what he means. And, I'm approaching as a fan. I'm probably sure, you having a work relationship, you get so much to absorb.
Yes, sir. It's been great so far, and me and Slice already have chemistry from the Bodega, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. We're the current United Wrestling Network Tag Team Champs. So we've already had that relationship. And now that we get to do it at this level, it's going to be insane, man. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to shake the room.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, MLW is just such a big show nowadays. They're growing bigger and bigger, it seems like, to be, one of the top promotions in the U.S. and maybe the world one day. I just think they're great. I mean, do you feel like that international expansion could come soon? Maybe we could see MLW Mexico. I mean, they've been in Mexico, but I mean, beyond Mexico.
They've been there before, but it'd be tight, man. It'd be exciting to get out there again. And, I haven't wrestled in Mexico since I worked with Konnan at AAA and the Crash, Lucha Libre. So, I'm all for it, man. I love Mexico. So I'm down. I think MLW has been doing some pretty cool things, just watching from the sidelines before I was signed, seeing the things they do, picking up guys like EJ the Judge, you know what I'm saying? They you got Fatu there, you got Hammerstone, there's a lot of stars there, and then with this new LAX, man, we got potential to be the next tag champs already. I feel it.
Definitely. That's going to be exciting. Talk about they're grateful for that opportunities, to work during this COVID-19 pandemic. Like when that hit you and what was it like? Because I'm sure a lot of shows, got canceled, as a fan, shows were getting canceled and bookers, had to make those hard decisions.
The pandemic, even though it was kind of like hard for everybody else, to me, it was the best year of my life. This year has already beaten that year, but at the time, that was the best year I ever had. I had the most wrestling bookings. I was out of state all the time. I was making movies. Joe Riv was filmed during the pandemic, shot in one day. It was a long shoot day, but, making my New Japan debut in the pandemic, making my AEW debut in the pandemic, signing with AEW in the pandemic, wrestling on Dynamite against Kenny Omega and all the matches that I had, wrestling Konosuke Takeshita from DDT Pro and my feud with Rocky Romero and joining Team Filthy and becoming tag champs with United Wrestling Network. Like, it was a hell of a year, if you ask me, Papa.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you had one heck of a year. You definitely were, spotlighted throughout. And I believe you did make the PWE rankings as well.
Yeah, I was in the PWI. Pro Wrestling Illustrated One to Watch. They did a whole spread on me. So that was pretty dope. Awesome. And, I'm excited to see what that top 500 looks like, right?
Yeah. I'm sure that's going to be there for you very soon. Now, being at the independent events, and then you got to work, recently did MLW. You know, you'll be working MLW,
Yeah.
AEW Dark. You worked New Japan Strong. You know, what's the difference between you with the crowds? Like, where there was a lack of crowd, or there was a smaller crowd? What was the
So
difference?
when I made my New Japan debut, I've never wrestled in front of any fans at New Japan yet. It's been all studio,
Right.
you know, style just because of the COVID. They're going back to their live shows next month.
Mhm.
AEW, there was not that many fans at the time because of the pandemic, but I did
Right.
get to wrestle Evil Uno in front of a live crowd in Jacksonville, and that was dope.
Mhm.
You know, Evil Uno was great. We had a fun match. The crowd was hot. You know, they were. It gave me the response that I was hoping for. You know, that I did a lot of work during the pandemic, and I earned the respect of the crowd, and I think that it was noticeable in that match. But man, being in Philly this last weekend, man, for MLW is making our debut as LAX. You know, that pop, that crowd, it was
Yes.
man, insane, bro.
I can only imagine, man, and it's awesome that you are now LAX. Like, this is such an iconic stable.
Yes,
You
it's a
know?
legacy, you know, and
Yeah.
just be part of that legacy now, you know, when it was Homicide and Hernandez and then Santana and Ortiz, and now you got me and Slice Boogie taking up the mantle. I think we're gonna do great things, man.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait, and that's very exciting. Everybody's gonna have to tune in to MLW to check that out because that's gonna be amazing. I know it's Saturdays, Vice TV as well, so everybody has to go check that out. You know, talk about, you know, proud to be Puerto Rican, man, a part of the heritage, the Puerto Rican, the professional wrestlers. You know, we had like Savio Vega back in the day. You know, the Colones. You know, and leading up to now, you know, we had also those great guys over there that were in the WCW, Rocco Rock and Johnny Bad. You know,
Yeah,
they were amazing as Public Enemies. So, you know, talk about, you know, being part of that.
man. For me, it's one of those things where, you know, it's for the culture. You know, everybody says it's for the culture, but what culture? You know, what exactly are they doing for the culture? For me, you know, now I have an opportunity, you know, unique opportunity to be the flag bearer for Latinos and for Puerto Ricans more specifically.
Yeah.
My daughter's half Puerto Rican, she's half Mexican, you know, so LAX, that represents her, you know, that's for all the Latinos out there. And you know, me and Slice, you know, we take pride in that. We come out there, you know, we're gonna give that energy, that fire, we're gonna talk our shit, we're gonna do what we do in the ring. And I think that, you know, when you roll with somebody like Konnan, who's another Latino legend, you know, you can't fail. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And I think that the work that I've been putting in at New Japan, at AEW, on the indies in my career, and the work that Slice has been putting at NWA and the indies, you know, we're gonna do some things together, man. And I feel like it's gonna be a different take on LAX for sure, you know, because me and Slice are very different in the ring. The things that we do are very, very different, but we have that chemistry, so it's gonna be very unique for people to see, like, oh shit, you know,
Right.
it's going to be very much different than what Santana and Ortiz brought to the table. It's going to be very different than what Homicide and Hernandez brought. And we're just trying to add to that legacy. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, man. And I think it's just a great opportunity for you, being, you know, the age you are as well, right?
Yeah.
Into the spotlight. Like, you've managed to handle it because, you know, you've wrestled, you know, 10 plus years, but it's great that it's coming now instead of like in the latter part of your career.
I don't even know where you got your information from, bro. I've only been wrestling 5 years.
I meant within the decade, yeah.
Within this, yeah. So I've only been wrestling 5 years. But like you said, man, like we're, you know, I'm in the position brought in obviously into the limelight to be a star, to bring some, you know, some fire to MLW. Sure. That's the plan. You know, I think that I already put the work in this last year. People already seen all the stuff that I could do. I've already wrestled the best in the world. You know what I'm saying? I've proven myself with the best.
Right.
So now it's to go there and show MLW fans and show the MLW world who I am, who Slice is, and what we're going to do together. And there's nobody that's going to stop us.
Definitely. Can we expect you, before we get into the movies, can we expect you to come to the Chicago market, man? We've got some.
Oh, yeah. Get your tickets now. MLW is going to be in Chicago. Right. Tickets on sale now. Get your tickets before they sell out.
Okay. And how about the independent shows? Would you like to come join some of those independent
I would love to wrestle in Chicago, man. I got to get booked, though. I need a flight, I need a hotel, and I need X amount of dollars. So any promotions out there that want Danny Limelight, the radioactive Poppy, one half of LAX, a Team Filthy member, you know, a United Wrestling Network tag champ. You want me at your show, man? Hit me up. I'm always down to go anywhere. Sure. But I want to wrestle in Chicago for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they would love to have you, man. I know we have a stable called Sociedad Aburricas. I don't know if you heard of them.
I haven't.
Okay, well, they're interesting. They're Puerto Rican stable, so it's just interesting that we see a lot of the Puerto Ricans being represented in action in here in Chicago as well.
Hell yeah.
Let's talk about the movie, the Joe Riv. It's a big action film. Yeah.
So, Joe Riv, obviously. You know what? Let's play the trailer. Can we play the trailer?
Yeah, I can play it.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, please go ahead.
I thought we were brothers. It's been 3 years since I saw them put you in the ground.
Joe Riv? Is that?
Who killed my sister?
I saw them bury you!
You have to go. I'm sorry, you have to go now.
Aren't you fucking dead?
Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
Let's go.
Definitely, man. So yeah, tell us about that film, man, and tell us about, when you were approached with the project, and obviously LeQuan, feel free to chime in when you guys were approached with this project, what drew you to it?
Right. Well, man, I wasn't approached with this project. I wrote this film.
Okay.
I produced this film. I starred in it. I did my own stunts. I coordinated everybody's stunts. The film was directed by Egyptian filmmaker, award-winning filmmaker Michael Assad. When I was looking for the role of Detective Jacobs, there was only one person that came to mind, and that's my boy LeQuan Bennett. I'm allowing him to introduce himself now.
Hey, so LeQuan Bennett here. I worked with Danny on a prior project that he wrote, 207, and so we met. We had a lot of fun on set, and he brought me back for Joe Riv as Detective Jacobs, which was also a whole lot of fun.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm an actor here in LA, voice actor. Started out as a stunt guy, actually. Glad to be a part of this project.
Definitely. Well, that's awesome. And, talk about the film with Danny, like when you got approached by Danny with what he was offering, and then how exciting were you to be a part of this? Obviously, you guys had experience before, working in the film industry, but, talk about what drew you to this one in particular.
Well, it seemed like kind of a archetypical sort of helper, character from the hero's journey, right? This is a thing where it's he's a one-man army, right? He's pretty much doing everything by himself, right? Yeah, this is pretty much the one character, right, that that can offer him any help in the form of knowledge and in the form of a little additional firepower. And no, it seemed like a pretty good match, and it's fun. It's a fun premise, and it is a fun sort of, that helper character is a fun role to play.
Can't wait to see it, man. This is going to be a really fun movie. I can tell right off the bat. It's something I definitely want to see. I love the character and the characterization and the detail that goes into the scenes. Danny, for you, what was it like working with the Hollywood stunt legend Nick Hertz? I'm not sure if LeQuan, if you had a chance to work with the stunt coordinator as well.
It was a lot of fun, man. First of all, when I got the inspiration for the film, it was obviously from John Wick's franchise, movies with Jason Statham and movies like Jason Bourne. It's that type of action, that fast pace, armed versus unarmed, multiple bad guys, weapon on weapon kind of contact. And I knew that LeQuan is a great actor, and I knew that he could take the role and make it his. He actually had a lot of improv in his lines. Like, he had a script, but he had a lot of free will to play with it as he wanted. And I think he did a great job with that. And with Nick Hertz, man, he's a legend. You know, he's done movies like Transformers, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Scorpion King, you know, Three Kings, Tax Collector. He's done a lot of American Sniper. He's done a lot of films, done a lot of work in the stunt community. And I think that having him on set, was vital to the success of this film. You know, he second unit directed, you know, alongside Miko. He made sure we had all the action shots that we needed. And I think that the fights, you know, it's an action film. So the fights is the most important part of the film, my opinion. Yes, the story has to make sense. Yes, you know, people need to be engaged, but the fights is what people go watch the action film for. And I think that we delivered, you know, coordinating all the stunts, putting it all together, him overseeing it and giving me that, you know, that reign to like play with it how I wanted. It was fucking awesome. He's great.
I can imagine. Wow. And director Michael Assad, you know, his, you know, taking your vision and adapting it to film, was it just a great collaboration?
Yeah, man. Miko is he's like I said, man, he's an artist, he's a visionary, you know, he's an award-winning filmmaker. LeQuan also worked with him on 207 because he directed 207 as well. I worked with him in a few other little projects. And, you know, we currently have a film that's in pre-production called AFK. It's a horror film that I'm going to be a part of, that he's producing and starring in. It's going to be insane. But, you know, he read the script for Joe Riv. I told him my ideas and I told him, you know, but I want you to direct this. I want you to shoot what you think needs to be shot and how it needs to be shot. And I think that he really brought that flavor. You know, he's a very, very intelligent, smart man. And I think that he did a great job and he worked great with everybody. You know, one of my favorite scenes in the film that he directed was in the diner scene with LeQuan. Me and LeQuan are sitting down and we were talking. You know, we're having this real confrontational conversation because the thing is, Joe Riv, you know, he's been dead for 3 years. People think he's been dead. You know, he was a CIA agent. You know, it's a short film, so some things are left not told because I have a full script for a full feature-length film that we're gonna end up shooting. You know, and you know, so in this scene, you know, LeQuan's character, he's meeting Joe Riv for the first time in 3 years. He watched them bury me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you, my friend, I thought you've been dead and now you're back in town. Like, you know, and obviously like he's like, LeQuan explained it perfectly. I'm a one-man army. I'm coming to fuck shit up because they killed my sister. And I'm trying to get through him to tell me who did it. And he's trying to, you know, because his character has morals. He lives by the badge. He's not a bad guy. He's trying to do his job, you know, and that's where the competition lies. And that diner scene is a pretty intense scene, but I'll let LeQuan talk more about that.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's you know, he's sort of stuck in a crossfire here between, you know, his interest as the interest of his, you know, friendship and you know, really family, right? Because they were close, and it's the sentiment is completely understandable, right? The drive, the motivation, right? And you know, deep down, yes, he wants these dudes to pay for it too, right? But he is, you know, like Danny was saying, you know, he is a civil servant, right? And he has to uphold the law, you know, and he takes this very, very seriously. So yeah, that's something he's got to chew on, right? And you see what happens.
For sure. I can't wait. You know, talk about the working with the other Marines on the project. And, you know, there's a lot of Marines that you worked on the project with who also have interest in starting an acting career themselves.
Yeah, you know, one of them more specifically that comes to mind is the DJ Loudmouth. He's a Marine Corps veteran who's also a DJ and an artist. And he came to the film. He played himself in the film, you know, a DJ. And he was spinning tracks. You know, there's the film takes a lot of the film takes place in the club, and the opening scene opens up in a club, and he's DJ Loudmouth playing his new song "Bop It," which is now available on all streaming platforms like Spotify and iTunes. And it's his new hit. He hadn't played it anywhere yet. He hadn't released it, but he did it for this film. An awesome song. So, you know, just working with a fellow Marine who's got out of the Marine Corps and is working on his passions, following his dreams like I did with acting and wrestling. It's kind of cool to bring him on the project and allow him to showcase his music. You know, there was another Marine there named Rick Kennedy, a good friend of mine. You know, he's trying to get on into the acting world, and he was there. He came for a few scenes in the club and stuff like that. So it was just a fun time, man.
For sure. And LeQuan, for you, when working with Danny, any time that you felt like he was like in character and it was like, oh, whoa, you had to take a step back? Like any moments like that, even when, after when you weren't filming?
Well, I may have actually broken him out of character a couple times with with just some silly like improv and just like shenanigans around the set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But no, he did fantastic. He definitely brought that intensity that is required for a role like this.
Definitely. I can definitely see him doing that. Obviously with the wrestling, that should come like second nature almost. Now talk about the stunt coordinator of the film. I mean, LeQuan, did you have any part in hand in the stunt coordinating for the film, or is it mostly with Danny?
So sort of like a lot of my the lines that I had, the action that I had was also kind of, heavily improvised because situationally we had something planned and the actual space didn't allow for that. So we, had to think on our feet and come up with something on the moment. So that's what happened. And we did that while Nick was handling other things because it was a one-day shoot, right? And just everybody had to be on point about efficiency and, just getting as much done as possible.
Yeah, I can only imagine that was pretty hectic for you, Danny, filming that film in just one day. Whose idea was that?
Well, honestly, ideally, you want as much time as possible,
Right.
But that time requires money when trying to shoot a film because you got to rent the space out. You got to, what I'm saying? If you're going to take people's time for more than a day, you kind of want to, there's money that is involved, Budgeting wise, we didn't have a big budget, so we didn't have a lot of time. So we had to shoot it in a day, but I knew that I was working with people that were good enough to be able to get this done in a day. If we had more time, every director, every producer wishes there's more time. Steven Spielberg probably wishes he had more time for a scene,
Right.
So of course we used more time, of course. But we were able to do it in one day, not over exceed our budget. Nobody got hurt. Everybody was safe. Nobody caught COVID. And I think we did a great job, man. I think that it was exactly what I wanted it to be.
We're excited to see when this movie does come out. Obviously, give us the release details when you have them, and we'll post them on the interview.
So the film got accepted now to 4 film festivals.
Yeah.
So at the end of the month, we're going to Vegas, the biggest action film festival there is. And we're going to premiere our movie on July 29th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are available now for just $10. You can get them online. I've posted them all over my social media. Tickets on sale now. You go check Joe Riv, July 29th. Then we have the ceremony, the 30th and the 31st, where our film has been submitted for some things. So we're going to be getting nominated. So hopefully we can win some awards. And then when we come back from the festival, the plan is to either release it on Amazon or Hulu or something like that. Or what I really want to do is raise the money or get picked up by a producer in Vegas and shoot a full featured film to go straight to theaters.
That sounds like a great opportunity for you, man. I wish you both the best of luck. I just had a couple more questions for you, Danny, and it was about the upcoming match with Dante Martin, Casey Navarro, 2 guys you're familiar with. You've been in matches with them, whether you were tagging with KC against Jungle Express, you had took on Dante Martin before. So, talk about this matchup and the importance of this matchup. And, obviously predictions really don't really count in pro wrestling, but just, what you think we can expect.
So this Saturday night, Warrior Wrestling, Casey Navarro versus Dante Martin. 2 people I'm very familiar with. Casey Navarro, he's blessed. Dante Martin is a cheat code, and stuff that kid does in the ring is insane. And I think it's going to be a very highly competitive match. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people. I think it's going to be the match of the night, in my opinion. As much as I love Casey, I just think that right now Dante's on fire. So I think that my money's going to be on Dante Martin from Top Flight. That's my boy as well. I'm excited for everything he's been doing while his brother's been recovering from an injury. But I don't sleep on Casey though. It's gonna be a fire match.
Well, Casey Navarro got a win at the last Warrior Stadium series against Cole Radrick. So trying to build upon that.
Cole Radrick is not Dante Martin.
No, I know, not at all. You're right about that. But both are great wrestlers,
Great wrestlers, both. Yeah.
And then the last thing I want to ask is, the MLW, who are you excited to work with? I mean, in the future with MLW, you have like names picked in your head, or is like whatever, comes your way, but just, you have such a great roster of guys to work with.
Yeah, there's so much talent on that roster, man. Off the top of my head, obviously, Davey Richards, TJ Perkins, Devon Eriks, Hammerstone. I want to wrestle. Man, anybody could get this work, bro. Anybody can get this work at LAX. You know what I'm saying? Don't even matter. Anybody.
I'd love to see you against Chicago's own Gringo Loco.
Gringo Loco was actually in a film with me 2 years ago. We shot with John Morrison, who was in his film. We did the stunts for his film.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. He's good people.
Awesome. For sure. And then what do you feel when you see a fan wear your shirt or your merchandise?
I love it, man. I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for the fans. I love the support constantly. I feel like without them, we can't get to that next level. So when people buy my merchandise, they ask for photos, autographs, etc. I'm always down to, I appreciate it always.
It must be a wonderful feeling.
Yes, sir. So you can get my merchandise at prowrestlingtees.com/Danny Limelight.
For sure. I'm going to post that too. Hey, I appreciate you again being on the show. I see you're busy. You got some food in front of you, but no,
I gotta eat. Go back in the gym.
I don't blame you. I'm on a similar, regimen myself. So I lost a lot of weight recently. So I definitely understand. Hopefully,
I just want to thank you so much, man, for bringing me on the show, allowing LeQuan to come on. LeQuan, hop on here to show everybody where they can find you on social media and stuff before you take off.
Yes, please.
Yo, so you can check me out on IG at Windstriker007.
Awesome.
So appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, anytime, guys. And, best of luck with the film. If you guys want to do a follow-up interview when the film is released, or you have any additional information, let me know. I can actually write up something as well. So
Awesome.
You're welcome to, just let me know. I can do a Q&A over
Thank
email.
you so much, everybody listening. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into my boy Sean's podcast. And make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Danny Limelight. Be on the lookout for Joe Riv coming soon. Make sure you're tuning in every week to MLW. Mi gente, till next time, I'll see you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Danny, being on the show. I appreciate you, LeQuan, being on Pro Wrestling Force podcast as well.